On today's DNVR Broncos podcast, we are talking about the potential new stadium location for the Broncos, and we've got a very special guest joining us. Plus, we're going to break down Week 2's game, Broncos Colts. Where do the Broncos have the advantage over the Colts, and how easy or difficult will that game be? It all starts now. A new home for the Denver Broncos? Potentially. It seems like they're doing tons of research on one area, and we're going to break it down on the DNVR Broncos podcast inside the Toyota Lounge, driven by your local Front Range Toyota stores. And we are the DNVR Broncos podcast. I got Ryan Koenigsberg to my left. I got Henry Chisholm 2 seats away from me. We got you here behind the camera. And we've got a very special guest joining us today, which is going to make it an incredibly fun show. Let's welcome him, our guy, Spencer Smith. Let's go, baby.
So stoked to be on the show. I was like, what am I going to wear today? Does my hair look good? Do I got the right shoes on?
The hair's looking amazing.
You know, I just put a hat on and I'm kind of bald on top. So it's my go-to move.
Is he naked or something? Why is he blurred out on the screen?
That's a good question.
Well, is he going to stay blurred out the entire show?
He's just double birds the entire show. Got to keep him blurred.
Wow.
Are we censoring the shirt?
Oh, so you're like the whole WNBA. You're anti Caitlin Clark now, yeah?
Wow.
Yeah, it's a sick shirt.
So how do you introduce Spencer? I mean, host of Big Drive Energy, co-host of DNVR Rockies, events coordinator of DNVR, father, husband, brother, son.
Has a dog.
Friend.
Yeah, you left out friend.
Oh, yeah.
I think my 2 minutes is up. I'm out.
Yeah, you do it all.
I do a lot, but it's fun. And working for DNVR in All City is incredible. It's funny we're going to talk about the stadium moving because I'm excited, but like the tailgates have to move, and that stresses me out. And this is like, who knows how many years down the road, and I'm like, I got to find a new spot if this happens. Like,
That's true. We have the best possible tailgate spot right now.
We do. It will never be better.
Maybe we should buy some of that land over there.
Yeah, maybe we should.
Broncos are like trying to get it all.
Yeah, we could get our way into this whole lawyer buying up situation.
Yeah.
We got, hey, we need some space. We need some real estate.
We should just have some of the land and then sell it to them on the conditions that we can have a tailgate spot.
Because the thing is, we don't need too much land.
Yeah.
We just need like a...
I don't know. Our tailgates are
quarter
100
acre
square.
Yeah.
We can also just build a DNVR bar there.
That's true.
That would also be sick.
Yeah, I hope if it is what we think it's going to be, where it's a whole entertainment district, I mean, you never know. But it would be, it's going to be incredible. And maybe we just weasel our way in there, you know, a little DNVR shop, bar.
Because they did
right
that.
next to the stadium.
So dope.
Obviously, Rockies just built their big thing. And I wonder, it seems like those bars do what, like that Tom's Watch bar. Like the overhead there would just be insane, but it's always packed.
Yeah, I went in there on a Tuesday night. The Rockies were playing, but nobody cares about them, and it was so full. Well, when I say nobody, I mean nobody outside of my own bubble.
Outside of this couch.
Outside of my this couch or my show.
It's pretty special. Not only do we have Spencer on the show today, but on this couch, on this one shot you hear, we get the one shot of those two. We have maybe the 2 biggest Rockies supporters of this entire year.
World.
Probably true.
In the entire world right here. What a special day for us.
It's literally the players' families and Spencer and
them.
Henry.
Yeah.
Soon we might be part of the family.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The Rockies are really good right now. Not sure if you guys
7
been
home
watching.
runs in a game yesterday?
Yeah.
And aren't they 500 in their past 14 games?
In their past 14,
What the
yep.
hell? They're gonna
they're
blow
hot.
it, dude.
I know,
They're
they're gonna
hot.
blow it.
No, they're gonna get hot. All these prospects are gonna be dope, and we're gonna go into next year saying like, I don't know, playoffs are right there.
All right. Actually, I keep remembering that we can't even get a top 10 pick. So win all you want. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
very true. It's very true.
Also, mock draft this morning from ESPN had Ethan Holiday, who's been like penciled in as the #1 pick. Matt Holiday's son for like 3 years, had him slip into 4.
he's been the number one pick for 3 years, or he's been Matt Holliday's son for 3 years?
Has certainly been projected number one pick. Probably has also been Matt Holliday's son.
Did Matt Holliday do the Blind Side? Did he adopt a kid 3 years ago
Could be.
to try to have the number one overall pick?
Could be. He's already had one overall pick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, his kid wouldn't be as talented at baseball if
Yeah,
he
that's
adopted
very
him.
true.
Yeah. He needs those
It's
genes.
a really good
Yeah.
point. Okay, so we've kind of dove into the stadium a little bit, but let's take a step back and just explain where we are with the stadium news right now. So over the past week, more information has come out, including, I believe the most recent information was on Monday morning. Denver Wright's been breaking all of this news. And the most updated news is the Broncos last week, it came out, they had bought $150 million in property in the area between Colfax and 6th Avenue, just east of I-25. There's a lot of warehouses and not much going on there right now. And the Broncos have started buying up $150 million. Well, on Monday, it came out that the Broncos have been talking with Denver Water for over a year now about big piece of property they have in that exact same area, including top officials with the Broncos have been meeting with Denver Water. And so it would appear that they would like to purchase that as well. And it really seems like they are narrowing in on this area in Denver right now. And what I've been told is they might be doing this in the other cities that they've talked about too, Lone Tree, Aurora. But what I've also been told is they want to keep the Denver Broncos. Ryan, you said that how important that was to the fan base. Everyone knows that. They're the Denver Broncos. They're not the Denver Broncos that play in Lone Tree. They're not the Denver Broncos that play by the airport. They're the Denver Broncos. So I do believe personally this is where the stadium is going to be. And as every week goes on, we just get a little more info that, man, this really seems like the spot it would be. So Yahir has it up on the screen right now. Yahir, I don't know if we're able to kind of circle the area where it is. In the top left-ish corner, you can see where the current stadium is right there.
Yep.
And then now it's kind of right around the middle of the screen. You can kind of see the highway that runs through the middle of the screen on the middle left side. And then just that big area right there is where Colfax, 6th are. And then in between that is essentially that big area in there is where the Broncos are starting to buy up some land.
And it's the middle kind of quadrant there.
It's yes, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. The snake.
Oh, I see the red circle.
Yeah,
now.
just south
Yeah.
of
Oh,
the
there you go. I couldn't see that.
south of like the Metro State baseball
Yep.
complex, which is like an incredible little area.
It's a nice complex.
And this area right now is not good.
There's nothing
So
going on,
like
yeah.
it's just not an area you'd want to frequent without a football stadium there.
Yeah, and I mean, I just imagine they buy everything there, just south of the metro area, right there, where those fields are, and they just take it all down, put a stadium there, and then build an entire entertainment center. And before the show, I was a little hesitant, like, is there enough space there? And then a really good way to view this, look at Mile High, where Empower Field currently is right now. That's an entire stadium that could easily fit in this open area, plus so many restaurants and bars and tailgates for DNVR can fit in that entire space. And that to me is the biggest thing. If they're going to move the stadium, I want it so that it can be a huge event center for not just football and not just for football games, but for everything surrounding it. And that was the only appeal in my mind of moving it somewhere far away outside of Denver, was just having a really, really cool environment for game days. And I think the Broncos have identified a place right by their current stadium, only a mile away, still in Denver, that accompanies that. So I absolutely love it.
Well, and it's cool because right across Colfax from there is the Metro, campus. And right on the other side of that campus is Ball Arena. So you're really keeping everything in the same kind of centralized area, and you're actually bringing the Broncos Stadium even closer, I guess probably by just a little bit, to the rest of the city. So to me, it's a huge win. And I definitely don't want to get into the political bullshit of all of this. But, like, for those of you who are like, well, we need to clean up the city, like, this will help that. You know what I mean? You're
Yes.
taking an area of the city that currently is not great, and you're going to be giving it an insane facelift to make a nicer area of the city. So it should be a win for even the people who are like scared of downtown.
Well, and I'm not that good at geography, but I know we have the new Denver NWSL team coming. That's
Yep.
also pretty. Their stadium is pretty close to this picture as well, just a little more south and a little more west. So this whole area could become something incredible. And the thing I think about new stadiums, obviously, you know, we love Mile High and there's memories there and whatnot, but the infrastructure of building something new where the traffic could be way better, and they could build, like right now, getting in and out of Mile High on a weekday or weekend when there's a game is just a complete disaster.
Even worse when there's a weekday game.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that could alleviate a lot of that too, is like everything's new and they have hopefully a new way to build roads and build all that stuff around that to make it perfect for game days.
And also with this stadium and moving it, I think they'll buy up all of that to be able to control what the game day atmosphere is like. And they're going to dump so much money in. They might have to move the light rail. They might have to move some train tracks. I don't think they're going to have to move the highway for this one, but they're going to be investing a ton, which just means that they're going to be able to make it exactly how they want. And where the current stadium is right now, and why I'm actually in favor of them moving it from where it is to this new area, I know they talked about a potential development of some of the area around the stadium to make it more of a bar district and things like that. There's just not that much like actual
Space.
room for it. Like you see, it's backed up right there to, what is that, Federal and Colfax right there, and then the highway's on the other side. There's really not that much space, so it doesn't feel like they'd be able to truly do it the way they want. And look, they're $70 billion owners. They can do whatever they want, and this space allows them to do whatever they want. So honestly, that's why I do think this is like the perfect location.
Spence, one of the reasons we had you on the show today, aside from your good looks and charm, is
And friendship.
friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep
Yeah.
forgetting
Forget it
that one.
again.
Maybe he's not that good of a friend. I don't know. He was in my wedding though. Is because you're a season ticket holder. So as a season ticket holder, my first question for you is: do you think there is a need for a new stadium?
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay.
I lean. It's like a 55-45 scenario where, because I do a trip every year to an away stadium. So I've been to almost half of the NFL stadiums, and like going to US Bank in Minnesota. And I know this isn't going to be Jerry World, but going to Jerry World in Dallas, like seeing what other stadiums look like, you're like, oh my God, this is incredible. Now, I'm very much a homer of all the Denver teams. So I grew up going to the stadium. My first game was 20 plus years ago here, and I've been going 8 to 10 times a year since then. So I'm very like emotional to moving the stadium and having something different. But, you know, as you guys talked about, I talk about the Rockies, and like there's Broncos come up so many times because of this new ownership and how it's changed the look of the franchise. And how it's changed the ability to do stuff like this, where in the Rockies they're trapped and none of that can happen. Yeah. And so I'm more hopeful that like this new ownership, it's not just a reshuffling of the players year over year. It's like new training facility, which attracts more players, which gets a better team. Then you have a new stadium, potential to maybe host a Super Bowl in Denver, like that. I think there's dreams that they can go further. So while I am a little sentimental, I think the stadium is fine. I don't think it's great. Like I've been to worse. I went to Qualcomm. That was the biggest shithole of my life. So it could be worse, but I don't think there's a need for a new one, but I think the new one will be a welcome sight by the time this is finally done.
I love your perspective on that, Spence. And I have some more questions about specifics that, especially since you are at every Broncos game and you've seen half the other stadiums, what specifics you want with this new stadium. And I want to ask you those questions after I give a shout out to our friends over at, you might need this product for a new stadium for the Broncos. It's our friends over at Mando, where if you're going to be outside preseason game in August in that summer heat of Denver watching the Broncos, you are going to need Mando. You are going to sweat at that stadium. And
Maybe
in
if
fact,
you're working on the new stadium?
yeah, you're definitely going to need it then. Or if you're just anyone that's outside this summer, you're going to need Mando. And Mando is going to hook you up with their starter pack, which comes with so many cool products to get you started off at Mando, including the solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like a mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. Plus, if you use the code DNVR over at shopmando.com, that's SHOPMANDO.com, they're going to give you $5 additional off that starter pack. So with everything that comes in the starter pack, plus the $5 off, you're going to get over 40% off. No better way to try out Mando than with that starter pack. And make sure to use that code DNVR over at shopmando.com. That's SHOPMANDO.com. And please tell them we sent you by using that code. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando.
And shout out to Monarch Money. I think summer is a tough time to manage money because there's so many things happening. Like golfing is expensive.
You asking your girlfriend to go to 3 straight Rockies games on the weekend?
That was actually the smartest move maybe I've ever made. So her aunt and uncle are out of town, and she agreed to watch the dogs. And it's like way down at Hounds Ranch. It's like 45 minutes from here. She was like, well, will you stay there with me on Thursday night? And I said, I'll stay there Thursday night if you come to all 3 Rockies games this weekend. And she agreed. So it was a great deal. But it also means that I need to be managing my money because I think Sunday it's like $50 to sit in like the 10th row behind home plate, which is awesome. It's like $70 on Saturday. And so I think maybe go cheap Saturday, spend more on Sunday. But if I was better with my money, like Monarch would help make me be, then I could know exactly how much money I should be blowing on these Rockies.
It's 0.
Yeah.
That's not true.
That's what Monarch Money would probably tell you.
No,
Yeah.
most electric baseball team in the world the last 2 days. Nobody better. If you want to start managing your finances, build the life you actually want, Monarch can help. Financial stress, one of the top reasons relationships fall apart, makes that easier. It's top recommended personal finance app, more than 30,000 5-star reviews. Get control of your overall finances with Monarch Money. Use code DNVR at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code DNVR.
So, Spencer, a really quick shout out to everyone in the Twitter chat. Hit us with a thumbs up. It is Spirit Week for us. That's why we're joined by our very good friend, Spencer. And we are also this week giving a donation in every single show. All of the donations this week go toward our good friends over at Big Brothers and Big Sisters of America, or you can go on their website. You can also donate directly through YouTube, and 100% of your donation goes to Big Brothers, Big Sisters. If you use that, click that donate button, and it's going to donate. And if you donate, make sure to also drop a chat in here so we can give you a shout out. Doesn't have to be a super chat, just a normal chat. And make sure to tell us that you gave to Big Brothers Big Sisters during our show so we can give a shout out. You just click that donate button right there and you can donate money. We're trying to get as an entire All City network to 10,000. We're on our way to that goal, but we need your help. It's a really, really cool cause. And I mean, everyone has had a mentor growing up, and this is what Big Brothers and Big Sisters does. It's definitely helped all of us get to where we are, and just mentors. And if you can give to a program like that, it would really help, especially because it helps kids. That's the best thing to do. So make sure to give and donate. When you do, make sure to drop a chat in here, and then we'll have the producers save it so we can give you a shout out at the end of the show. But Spencer, I love everything that you said about that perspective, especially being at every single game. Is this the perfect location for them if they were to move, taking sentiment with that?
Yeah, I think this is the right spot because, like you mentioned, it's the Denver Broncos. They're not the Colorado Broncos. And the thought of it being out by the airport was exciting because I've been to the airport like 5 times in the last 2.5, 3 weeks. And I'm like, why is nothing out here? Why does it take me so long to get from the airport to my house? Yes, and that's fair. And I think going to Jerry World and having, that's the scenario they have, is like the Texas Ranger Stadium's right there, Jerry World's right there. They have a few bars and restaurants that are open on the weekends or when there's games, and that's it. And it's kind of a desolate area other than that, a couple roads in and out. But the Denver Broncos, and just the idea of Colorado and the city of Denver having all 4 sports teams within a 1.5 mile radius of each other. I've done multiple double dip days where I've gone Broncos game, walked into a Nuggets game, walked into an Avs game. Like, I don't want to lose that. And I think this is a great spot for it because I'm a South Side kid. I saw somebody mention in the chat that they should be on the North Side. I grew up in the South Side, Parker, Elizabeth area. So I'm more partial to that area. Like anything north of I-70 kind of doesn't exist for me. And I think, obviously there's the people that grew up in Boulder or Thornton's a very populated area, Westminster, but I think Southwest Denver is like the area, just the best area closest to downtown, but also has all of the stuff and you can walk stadium to stadium or be in the general area.
Yeah, so it truly is your perfect location. So now what I want to ask, because RK and Henry and myself, we've talked about this, but I want, especially you are sitting in the stadium every single game. Build me your perfect stadium. Does it have a roof? Is it retractable? And things like that.
I think the retractable roof is, I don't necessarily love it from the standpoint of like every single game. Is the roof going to be open? Is it going to be closed? Rip Jim Irsay, his bit. But like the one thing you can't do is what the Cowboys did and have this glaring sun issue scenario. Like it's completely idiotic. But I think.
Have you ever heard any of the DLLS guys rant about that?
I think I did see a clip once. It's hilarious.
Jeff
It's like,
Kavanaugh had a rant about it, and it's just the funniest thing.
I'm like, what are you're blinding your own players from going up for like a post route and they can't even see down the middle of the field. But I think retractable roof makes like, if the ultimate goal is to host something more, and I think Denver would be a great host city for a Super Bowl someday, I think you have to do that, obviously. But me personally, just watching all the games, like if you told me we'll never get a Super Bowl, even if there is a retractable roof, I love the chance of a January game being like it was in Buffalo last year, or I've been to an AFC championship that was 65 degrees. So that's just the greatness of this city, is you never know what you're going to get. And I do think that the dome takes away from a little bit of that. And I also hope that it's natural grass and not turf. That's one of the things that I know, like Boulder's now moving to turf for some other reasons too, but like I don't particularly love the turf, and I think that the natural grass, and it's just like I follow the dude that does all the stuff on Twitter for the Broncos stadium, the superintendent of the grass. His stuff is so fun to watch, like the takedowns, the regrass. And I think that's a really just unique part of Denver, is you could come here in December and you have no clue what you're going to get weather-wise.
I would be shocked, and it's such a good point. I'm really happy you brought the grass up. I'd be shocked if they went to turf, because everything the new ownership has done since they've taken over has been about player safety. They've invested millions of dollars in Bo Lowry and his staff every single year, which they didn't have to do. They already had people in place, but they paid millions of dollars for that. And every, 6 games, they bring in a brand new turf at the stadium, or grass, I'm sorry, because it's better for the players. At the Pat Bolin Fieldhouse, they invested $1 million to replace the turf in there so that it was the best quality for the players, for their safety. So I would just be shocked if it's not real grass, but that is a big thing. I don't think anyone wants to see it go to turf.
And I don't think it will, unless, of course, you did an indoor stadium. But even the Cardinals figured out a way to do grass in an indoor stadium. And I think maybe 1 or 2 other teams do it as well.
The Raiders do too.
Yeah, it'll be
Rams is turf.
It'll be grass. The main reason why they're doing it at CU is money. They want more opportunities to make money. The Broncos don't have that problem. They have unlimited money, so they're going to have grass in there. I'm kind of laying down my swords when it comes to the roof. As long as it's not a dome, straight up dome, which I don't think has any chance of happening, would be a travesty.
Why do you think it doesn't have a chance of happening?
Because this is building a stadium in Colorado and then taking Colorado out of it.
It would be embarrassing.
An insane decision.
Yeah.
I told you I would lose trust in the ownership if they move it. I'll gain trust in the ownership if they keep it.
Yeah.
The fact that they're keeping it in Denver, all signs pointing that way, makes me trust them to also get this part right. If they want to go retractable because they want a Final Four there and this, that, and the other, I'm willing to just like let it pass because I already won my battle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Very fair. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've said this plenty of times, but I just don't care if there's a Final Four here. I don't care if there's a Super Bowl here. Like, it just doesn't appeal to me. Which is why I just say play outside. If there was a way to do a good retractable roof, sure, that's fine. I just don't buy that it exists. Like, the Blue Jays have probably the best one so far, but it still feels like even when it's open, like you still feel like you're enclosed. Yeah. Like there's you can see out the top, but that's not really the point of playing Colorado, where it feels open, where you get the sunsets, where you get the sun and all that stuff. So I don't know, I've said it plenty of times. I just keep it open. Like, again, you have plenty of money. There's no need for the money, just build the best football stadium you can, and don't really worry about all the other sideshows.
Have you guys been to the Bills or heard about the new Bills stadium that's opening in 2026?
No. Well, I
It's-
mean, I've heard about it, but I don't know what you're trying to reference.
It's open, so it's an outdoor because the Bills wanted to keep Buffalo.
Yep.
But they have technology where I think when they turn the heaters on inside of it, no seat will be below like 60 degrees or something like that.
What the
And
heck?
when snow falls, it's got a heated field, so the snow isn't
So they,
going
have
to be
they
on
don't
the
have
field.
to keep asking fans to
Exactly.
come clear the snow
And-
for them.
Yeah, they
And
don't
I-
need
and I think,
100
like-
people with shovels every week.
Yeah, exact. That's probably why. The every seat's going to be heated, so the snow doesn't stick and it doesn't melt. And so it's outside, but you have the convenience for fans of it being inside. I don't know if that's going to be enough to draw a Super Bowl there. Obviously, a Final Four wouldn't be able to go there. But that's kind of a way to. There are ways to make it an outside stadium with the conveniences for fans, at least, of being comfortable inside.
Yeah, I just think we sometimes miss the point of football. Like, it's the same game it's been for like 60 years, and there's like an adventurous part of it where, again, coming from Montana and coming down here for, I guess, some December games too, like it's an adventure to go, and like you bond because it's so cold.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know that. There's more emphasis on premium seats. The ticket prices are going up. The people who go to football games aren't the same people who went to football games 15, 20 years ago. And there's this appeal of making it this luxury experience. I don't think it's supposed to be that. Like, I like the idea of it being cold. I like the idea of staying there and shivering. I think it brings more out of the crowd. Like, there's just some aspect of it that you lose when you take that away.
I agree. I fully agree. I expounded a lot of energy in making sure that this thing didn't move out of Denver. If their compromise is, okay, we'll keep it in Denver, but we want to be able to have Final Fours and all of that there, then I'll say, all right, fair compromise. I'm with you, though. Like, some of the most memorable games are the coldest games, or a rain game where everyone that, like, at a certain point is just soaked. And like, there's no going back.
Yeah.
You know, like everyone's in this together. We're all going to be wet and miserable, but we're also cheering on our team, and it kind of makes everyone a little more rowdy.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
you know, like you're drinking a little bit more to stay warmer. There's something to that for sure. And I'm with you on like the whole luxury experience. And I'm curious of Spencer's opinion on that as a season ticket holder. Like, are you looking for amenities? Are you looking for like certain things in the stadium that help, or are you just there to watch football?
Well, I do think the kind of Zach's point, what excites me about a new stadium is the new technology that just goes into all of these things. Like I've literally, every time I walk into a bathroom at a stadium, which you guys have probably been in New Orleans, one of the worst setups in the fucking world. This game, I went to the Broncos game last year, Thursday night game, not that busy. Tickets were very cheap. The Saints were terrible. And it took me like 30 minutes to go to the bathroom. Like, I'm just looking for little things like that and an upgrade where you can get a beer quickly because they have the auto thing, or you can go to the bathroom quickly, or there's, you know, the heated seats would be kind of cool. I don't necessarily know. Like, it would bring a lot of my old 60-year-old family and friends that are like, we don't go to games past October.
Right.
You know, like those
don't want
people
them.
maybe back. But I'm more
home.
excited for just the opportunity of new technology in the stadium that makes the game day experience better. Because there's a lot of times where I'm like, this is a joke. Like, it takes
Like
so
the face
long to do.
scan to get in. that type of
Exactly.
stuff.
Just stuff takes so long, and you miss, you know, I try to only go on quarters or timeouts, but so does everybody that cares about watching the game. And so then you're in these crazy lines where technology really can just make this a lot more smooth.
And a big reason, just to piggyback exactly off what you're saying, a big reason why I do want a new stadium, and I know Henry wants to keep Mile High the same and just upgrade the stadium, but the reason I want a new stadium is because of exactly what Spencer said, and then knowing the Broncos aren't going to cheap out on a single thing. It is going to be the best stadium that has ever been built in the entire world, and I am 100% confident in that. They are going to go above and beyond.
And that's why I think, like, we're testing the laws in like rules of structural engineering here that I, for one, know nothing about.
Yep.
But I feel like with an unlimited amount of money, there might be a way to create a truly retractable roof.
That's what I'm saying.
There might be.
It's on when it's on, and it's completely off when it's off.
And it somehow feels like it's open in the end zone, and
Yeah, but
Because-
maybe it can retract on all sides.
maybe
Like,
it retracts down. But again, I just haven't seen one yet. And the big reason I don't want them to build a new stadium is just because it's so expensive. Because like for season ticket holders, you wind up having to buy those personal seat licenses. So like for my family that has 4 season tickets that they've had forever, you know, they're good seats and they're like 5th row behind the Broncos bench, center field. And because those tickets have been my family since like the 70s, we've been able to just upgrade, and they're still expensive. It's like $220 a game, but in a new stadium, those seat licenses are probably going to be like 10 grand each.
Yeah.
And so if we want to keep them, it's going to be like 40 grand. And we don't know the exact numbers. But just about every stadium that's been built since the Broncos built theirs has used that system where like the Rams, it cost $1,000 minimum. Some keep them down under 500. I think the Warriors, when they built their arena, they kept half of their seat licenses under 15 grand. But that's just such a massive cost. Again, like Justin Michael, who works here, season tickets, they're expensive even up at the top. And if you say like, hey, this is going to cost $2,500 just to be able to keep seats in this new stadium, to buy your tickets. Again, you can sell them later on, but that's not the point. It's prohibitive for a lot of the people who I want going to the games. And it means that you get more of the people who like they just have money, so they get to go.
Well, there's no one better to ask than a season ticket holder with us right now. And I want to ask Spencer what he thinks about those, if it's worth it in his mind after I give a shout out to our friends. Actually, we're just giving a shout out to our guy Spencer and True Fan Travel, where Spencer has worked very closely with True Fan Travel for a long time, and going to do it again this year for a couple of really cool events, including
Let him talk about it.
Broncos going to London, Spencer.
Broncos going to London. We're going to have a great 5-6 day trip. Game tickets, tailgate will be huge. It will be the biggest Denver-centric Broncos-related tailgate in London, no doubt. And then we've also talked about some other exciting things with the podcast potentially that could come out in a couple of months. We've got a boat party. We've got tailgate. We've got trips around London in the bus, just a whole group together, all at the same hotel. It's going to be a great week. I'm excited for it. Really looking forward to going back to London and having a team that like last time we were there, we were like, are we really going to be excited about going and playing this game? And this year we got no high knees on the plane. Maybe we'll do some in honor of Russ, but
No.
not
we did win that game.
We did win that game.
did.
That was
Maybe
it was
good
a
luck.
mess, but I'm excited for the Broncos to go back to London. If you head over to the DNVR.com and under the events tab, you can go to our event for mid-October, and then you check it out. There's bunch of different packages. You can do 2 to a room, save yourself some money. You can do a self-travel package, which just means everything in London. You can get your flight, or if you're coming from wherever you're coming from, you don't necessarily have to fly from Denver. You do the self-travel package, and then everything in London, from your hotel to your game ticket, which are crazy right now, and your tailgate, a full inclusive experience is all covered. So check that out.
It's going to be awesome. So go to thednvr.com events, or you can go to truefantravel.com.
Also, exciting new thing that we are promoting, play-by-play broadcasting camp is in Denver this year. It's an award-winning sports broadcasting camp coming to Denver June 23rd through the 27th at the University of Denver. Play-by-play has been in business for 20 years and hosts camps in 14 different cities throughout the United States, including 4 of the 5 All-City Network markets, in addition to virtual camps. Scheduled to attend the play-by-play camp in Denver, it's DNVR's very own Adam Mares and some guy named Ryan Koenigsberg. Never heard of him, but maybe a poll for some people. If you want to register, you can go to playbyplaycamps.com and use the code ALLCITY for $100 off your ticket to camp. Or you can call 800-319-0884 or email info@playbyplaycamps.com with any questions.
So, Spencer, what do you think of PSL's personal seat licenses?
I think they're kind of a money grab, but it will be interesting to see because I think it's a money grab from ownership in general. Granted, it's kind of cool to have your own, but I don't want, like Hank said, I really don't want a lot of the people that have had these tickets for a long time being priced out. I think that's what makes it fun. And like, even when they built what's current Mile High, they kept the south stands like something that's very rowdy. Like, it's still the same vibe. And so I don't want a lot of people to get priced out of these tickets. But the interesting thing with Broncos ownership is, like we've talked about, money is not an issue. And so it's not necessarily like they're doing the money grab if they have to do this, or that's just the thing that, how you get seats nowadays. But I feel like the Broncos ownership is not going to be worried about how much they're worried about how much money they're making. That's a business, but like overall, they're not going to be like nickel and diming people if they don't necessarily need to in order to get the same people over to their seats. And I'm kind of curious as to how this whole process will play out, where they're like, hey, you know, you got to pay this and then you get the tickets and then you still have to pay per month or per, you know, game, however that ends up working. And then I know in the past couple of years, a lot of people that have transferred their tickets too many times have gotten them taken away because they're trying to keep people that actually want to go to the games. And I'm very much in favor of that. Like the guy that I have been going to games with, my mom's old boss since like 2002, he has the guy that he sells most of his season to log into his, I probably shouldn't say this, but anyways, yeah, you can't like,
No, you didn't out his name.
yeah. So
but that's what you want though. It's
Right.
not like what we don't want. Worst case scenario, you're selling them to road fans. Like even beyond that, you're selling them to make a profit, which means anybody can buy them and just jacking up the prices on the resale markets. Again, like my family, they were my grandfather's tickets. And so now like all my cousins use them, all my aunts and uncles, but that's like that's the way they're supposed to be used. Like if there's like a friend who he gives them to, well, it pays for them, but like,
yeah,
that's fine.
Exactly. And so they have to worry about that stuff. And I actually like that. Like if you're going to use tickets as a sole investment, like they can be an investment if you can't go, but if you're going to use tickets as a sole investment, there's 70,000 people on that waiting list that would just die to go. I mean, I saw somebody in the comments that they've never been to a game in Denver. Like I take that for granted. And I try every summer when the Broncos are not playing to tell myself like every Sunday, just, this is like one of the, you know, something that so many people have never got to do. So to take advantage of that and not just, oh, I can sell these and make some money. Like that's not about that. It's about the experience.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised because the Broncos have all that money. I'm sure there will be some sort of PSL, but I would be surprised if they make it where they are very much just immediately pricing out so many of the fans. Like Henry said, like where just a seat in the 100 section is $10,000 to buy. I would think that they would put a cap on that. That's just a total guess, but everything the ownership has been the right way so far. And I don't think they're going to make it. So it's priced out. Now they might sell the boxes for $1 million for a PSL or something crazy like that. But yeah, that's fine. I don't think that the normal fan cares about that. But if they cap it out at 500 or something, like would I wish they didn't have them? Yes, but I think they'll do something like that to try to keep the everyday fan in there.
That's definitely what worries me too. I mean, there's families that live on Federal who have had season tickets for their whole, like the entire existence of the Broncos, who just walk across the street to go to the games, you know, like I hope that those people don't get priced out, and we'll just see what happens. We'll see what happens, but it's nerve-wracking, but like you mentioned, the ownership has pressed all the right buttons so far. So, you know, innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah. I like
think
that.
The other big thing for me is just make it big. Like again, the wait list for season tickets is so long. If you could build a 100,000 seat stadium and pack it every week,
Yeah, let's get to 90, 100K. I think
it'd
would
be
awesome.
incredible.
That's not
It's not going to happen that big. And honestly, I'd take just not getting smaller, because that's the other trend in stadiums is that, you know, it used to be it went from 70,000, 75. I think Broncos are like 76. But then in the past like 15 years, it's gone back down to where new stadiums are 65,000 seats or sometimes even less. With the Broncos being where they are, this should be a place where you're making an 80,000 seat stadium.
Yeah, I think the reason for it, one, is because a lot of teams are struggling to sell at their stadiums, so you shrink it down. And then when you do have such a big stadium, let's just say you become a bad team for like 5 straight years and you're not selling those seats, you still have to pay to staff the entire stadium.
Yep.
So the overhead cost goes up a ton. And if you're not selling out the stadium, then you're in trouble. I would say Broncos fans have displayed their loyalty strong enough through the bad times that you could justify at the very least keeping it the same. But why not have the biggest stadium in the NFL?
Why not have the biggest stadium in North America and just be bigger than the Big House and have 110? I would love that
be
so
cool.
much. There's zero hope of that from me, and unfortunately, I do think it'll probably downsize. But Henry, I agree with you. I'd
Downsize to
love
what?
to keep it big. I mean, Levi's like 55,000.
That's so-
no.
that would be-
I'm not saying
I know.
downsize. I'm just saying they can get that small. 65. I don't know. That's a total guess on my end.
It would be a shame for it to get smaller for sure.
SoFi
Fully
is
agree.
70. But again, like that's LA, so it's going to be a little bit bigger than others.
Yeah, but the Broncos are the football team for an entire region of the country. Like, people literally are driving here from Montana, as you would know, Henry, to watch. Like, you're never going to run out of people that want to come to the games as long as you put out a good product. And obviously, this ownership group plans on putting a good product out there every year.
Yep.
Yeah. And, like, if you wanted to go 76,000 to 85,000, you could just add 10,000 people and see tickets.
Yeah.
Like, the base is right there. Like, you can sell out the same way you always have. And again, like, you would get you get less money, obviously, because you're adding seats that people would pay less for. You're selling them to people who otherwise wouldn't be paying to go. So the price would have to be lower to get them to go. But to me, it's worth it. Again, this shouldn't be about money. They're going to make money regardless.
Hey, you here? Can we check out Broncos Tube's comment there really quick, please? Spencer, what's the best move of the offseason? Which move gets you the most excited?
Oh God. Well, so my wife is a 49ers fan, so I watch almost every game the last 5 or 6 years. And it's honestly a tie for me between Hufanga and Greenlaw. I know that's like a boilerplate answer, but I've watched these guys play almost as much as I watch Broncos games. Like, we have Broncos on the big TV in my house. Second TV is always the Niners if they're playing at the same time because of my wife. And I mean, Dre Greenlaw at his peak changes the trajectory of this defense, which is already an insane thought because of how good, like at the end of the year last year, how good Cody Barton and Justin Sternad were playing, and those guys were kind of thrown into that role mid-season. Like, Dre Greenlaw being in the middle of the field, if healthy, is an absurd upgrade to just the entire defense was already tops in the league last year.
Man, I love hearing that from someone that's watched every single 49ers game, because that's what it seems like he brings in the big games that have been on national TV. And we've watched this, not only the type of player, but the physicality and the energy that he brings. That's honestly like the only thing that can take this Broncos defense up a level. Is we talk about like what made the 2015 defense so great. Well, they had a couple of Hall of Famers, but they also had Aqib Talib, who was going to rip someone's chain off. And
Also a Hall of Famer, in my opinion.
I agree with that. And then you also had Malik Jackson, who seemingly every single game got a 15-yard personal foul penalty to send a message, plus Derek Wolfe, plus TJ Ward. And now you add that big time with Dre Greenlaw.
Yeah, you went from really good to really good and nasty. And like, I think Hufanga flying around, like, I am a little worried about this season in general, and I don't want to put that vibe out there, but I am really worried about how healthy the Broncos have been the past few years, and they've added depth, that's been huge. You know, if you're going to have guys get hurt, it's just how it goes in the NFL. But to be honest, the last couple of years of the Broncos have been unreal, especially last year, like health-wise. So that part worries me, but they've added depth. And then a special shout out to Evan Ingram, because I don't know how good he's going to be. I think he's going to be that Joker role. I know you guys have talked about that a ton. It's been a thing around Denver, but I don't want to call any players out, and I'm not going to say any specific names, but the Broncos tight end room, I have tweeted this multiple times, was the worst room in the NFL. Defensive lines and linebacker. I mean,
everything.
I was like, how do you throw these guys out there? There's not a threat on the field. And so Evan Ingram changes that a ton. Like, everybody wants to talk about, Broncos don't have that great receivers. I mean, Evan Ingram as a seam guy and as a guy that can get open in the middle of the field, I think is going to be eye-opening for the offense, along with the growth of guys like Devon Vele and another year of Marvin Mims and another year of Troy Franklin potentially. I mean, there's a lot of potential on the offense, but the defense is just now even better and more nasty than it was before.
I love it. And the most shocking thing about this show so far is that you are centering yourself on multiple occasions. One of my favorite things opening up Twitter is seeing Spencer just be absolutely uncensored, going after teams, whether it's a local team, whether it's a national. It's the best thing on Twitter.
I can't say I agree.
Oh, you don't like it.
Too unhinged for me sometimes.
It's so good.
Yeah, you can tell how much I've been drinking based on my Twitter account.
My
for
favorite
sure.
is the Rockies text group chat, where one thing can go wrong, but then immediately, like, if the Rockies bounce back, it just goes 180 degrees the other way.
I love it.
Oh yeah, my ups and downs are otherworldly.
You guys need to cut him, and then it's like, oh, he's
sporting events.
awesome.
So, Spencer, I need to do a little temperature check on these first 2 weeks of the NFL season for the Broncos. We've got the Titans, we've got the Colts, both in my eyes, very easy games. I want your opinion on those, and we're going to break down the Colts game just like we did the Titans game yesterday. And before we do that, I want to give a shout out to our friends over at Empire Today. We're over at Empire Today. They are the best in the game when it comes to floors because that's all they do. They focus on floors, whether you're talking about hardwoods, whether you're talking about carpet, they've got you covered and everything flooring, and everyone needs flooring. So you got to check out the experts, which are our friends over at Empire Today. We had Empire floors put in this office a couple of years ago, and they still look brand new, and that's a very impressive feat for anyone to do at this office with how tough we can be on things, and looks like perfect right now. So we love Empire. We know you're going to love Empire, especially because they're going to give you a $350 discount by going to empiretoday.com/DNVR. It's going to get you $350 off when you use that code DNVR, and you can schedule a free in-home estimate today because some things are better at home. And again, go with the experts. Go with empiretoday.com and use that code DNVR over at empiretoday.com/DNVR. Restrictions apply. Visit empiretoday.com/DNVR for full details. Okay, temperature check. How you feeling about these first 2 weeks? I say like guaranteed wins, 2-0. It's going to be easy. Ryan thinks week 1 is what,
27-0.
27-0. Henry, a little more cautious on these first 2 games. Where are you at?
I think week 1 is as easy of a layup as they could have given the Broncos. Like rookie quarterback, this defense is going to be the battle at training camp all year this year, just figuring out who's starting and who's in what spot. And you have edge rusher after edge rusher you can throw at teams. Like I think Cam Ward's going to be in for it that day. That's going to look like, I mean, even before he blew up, like I've been like the Broncos made Tua Tagovailoa look terrible. They just have this knack to make, especially with the crowd. I mean, it's going to be popping. It's going to be so nice out.
The most excited people have been for a Broncos week 1 game in a decade.
Yeah, and we finally got actual opening day back. Like it felt like that was just a thing they penciled in for the Broncos, and then we lost it 2 years in a row. Where it was like we had to watch week 1 on the road. Like I think that crowd and Cam Ward is going to have a tough time. So I think that's a layup. The Colts game is interesting because, one thing about the Broncos now that is just so nice is the older I've gotten and more football I've watched, the more I realize how much coaching matters. And the Broncos win that almost every single week. Like the Broncos having Sean Payton now leading this team, like I trust what he's going to come up with every single week. And the Colts are just an interesting young team. I mean, Daniel Jones is probably going to be starting at quarterback for them week 2. And last year, I mean, frankly, the Broncos got kind of lucky to win that Colts game. But I think this team is going to start much better this year than they did last year, and they'll probably be 2-0. The Colts game could be tough, but the defense being the strength of this team, you know that they're going to be figured out a lot quicker than an offense trying to figure their thing out. And the Broncos won a lot of games last year with some, subpar offensive play in game to game.
It's such a good point about the defense getting this team off to a hot start, which they so desperately need. Henry, why don't you take us through who this Colts team is this year with the additions and subtractions? And as we pull up that graphic, Behad Moon says, is DNVR doing a tailgate for week 1? Because of our guy, Spencer Smith, we actually already have the tailgate set up for this year, and you can already get tickets over at the DNVR.com/events. So, Spence, you're killing it in every perspective, especially the friendship perspective, right?
Absolutely. The tailgates also just keep getting better. Like every year, we level it up. We have more partners there, more, things to eat, free drinks, whatever. Like, there's also always really sick stuff, and I'm looking forward to seeing how we level it up again this year.
Yeah, I'm pumped. We got some things coming down in the chamber, so can't necessarily say them yet.
Did you switch phrases there because you weren't sure if it was coming down the pipe or coming down the pike?
No, it's definitely pipe.
See, a lot of people think it's pike.
What is pike?
A pike is
besides
a fish.
Pike's Peak.
Whoa. Go ahead.
So there's like a turnpike too. Famously
coming down
from
the
the
road.
U.S. Open, where they had to cross over the turnpike to go from the front 9 to the back 9.
Okay, now actually I maybe talked into it, but
It's pipe. It's pipe.
Yeah, it actually
Spencer.
drives me
I'm
crazy
with you.
when people say pike. I'm like, I think
Nip it
I think
at
you-
the
also
bud
think
or nip it at the butt?
nip it in the bud.
Yes. But again, I think that it's going to be like
Yeah,
the
right.
the
Nip it
turnpike pipe thing, and that people will just stop even knowing, like, bud, what would that even mean? So it will just naturally turn to bud.
Nip
like
it in the
pike
butt.
to Pipe.
You said nip it in the.
Nip it in the bud before 7 p.m. Nip it in the butt after 7 p.m.
Do we have a call in?
What do you mean?
Oh, is this a mystery guest?
I think it's a second mystery.
We got a second mystery guest joining us along with our special guest Spencer today. Let's bring. I can only imagine who this is. This is it.
Oh, it's a true mystery.
Somewhere dark.
Yeah, it really is a mystery.
really
Reveal
dark.
yourself. Oh, let's go. Our guy.
Are you on a plane?
What's up, guys? I am. I'm headed out the country. That's all I want to
Oh
say.
my gosh.
You got the kiddo with you there too?
Yeah, I got no
Oh my goodness.
say hi.
The perfect special
So
guest.
you guys had no shine on. You guys had no shine on. I got jealous, so I had to come.
He hopped on and saw me on today. He was like, "Oh, we're good."
Todd, how you doing, man? Give us a quick rundown of how life is.
Man, life is great. Everything's going good. OTAs is smooth, seamless. Everything's going really well. The team is, like you said, is looking great, and I'm feeling great right now. So I miss you guys a lot, but I'm having a good time.
Yeah, it's fun watching you out there at practice. I've noticed, so like one of your jobs is to throw the interceptions to the linebackers during the, like their little warm-ups. I saw you like backwards hat, kind of like doing a little pump fake, get them to move different directions. Playing on quarterback, it looks like.
Yeah. So my shoulders aren't, the healthiest, but I do what I can.
Man, it is so cool to hear from you, Todd. When you get back from your international travels, you want to come in studio, or are there too many secrets that you have?
I have some secrets I can't tell, but I can come in the studio and say what's up.
Let's go. Or we could just, congregate downstairs and have some beers.
There we go. That'll work too.
It's crazy because I stopped by and nobody was there. So
Yeah, I heard about that.
Really sad.
I tried to come in.
Man, well, Todd, thank you for stopping it. Wait, where are you going?
That's another secret. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, so that it's got to be Sean's house in
He's
Cabo,
going to
right?
Sean's retreat.
Oh, off of Coeur d'Alene.
No, in Cabo, because
He
he's
said out
going
of the country.
internationally right
Oh,
now.
he did say
Yeah.
I know.
That would be fun.
You answered that pretty quick. I think that might be where the plane's going right now. Well, Todd, it's awesome to hear from you. It's awesome to see you out on the field, just like Henry said. And enjoy your trip. Thanks for stopping by.
All right, sounds good, man. I'll talk to you guys soon. I'll see you at training camp.
Perfect.
All right,
See you,
miss you,
Todd.
bro.
Man, that's awesome to hear from our guy.
On the plane, too.
Yeah, on the plane. That's cool. Shout out to you here for setting that up.
I have
again.
I have one more quick departure before we get to this additions and departures. We were talking about phrases, and I don't know why that made me think of this because you mentioned the Colorado Broncos earlier. Which one do you guys prefer? We have 2 and 2. We have Colorado Rockies, Colorado Avalanche. We have Denver Broncos, Denver Nuggets. Which one do you like better?
Definitely, I think all 4 could be Denver. Like the Denver Rockies would slap.
But maybe they didn't do that because there are no Rockies in Denver.
Are
No
there
avalanches either.
are there Broncos in Denver?
Yeah.
Really?
Just look outside. You might see one running by.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure about that.
I don't think there's Panthers in Raleigh.
Yeah.
But I think
you're
when
trying
they-
to say
But when I think they thought of this, they're like the Denver Rockies, and they would be like, well, that's weird. The Rockies are in Colorado, but they're not in Denver specifically. Same thing with avalanches. There's no avalanches in Denver, but there are avalanches in Colorado.
sure. Yeah, I can get behind it.
But I like the Denver ones too. I like when I get to put Denver across my chest.
Yeah.
I also like when I get to put Colorado across my chest.
Yeah.
I like Denver better than Colorado. I think just as like concepts. So I think I lean Denver.
Okay.
Then we're just being too exclusive.
So you like Colorado?
I don't know.
Would you support a move to the Colorado Broncos?
No, you can't. You
Sounds
can't.
so
You
weird.
can't move now.
Yeah, that would be bizarre. Or the Colorado Nuggets.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
just
This feels weird.
Yeah.
I do. It would
If
be
there was a
interesting.
new team, I don't know what sport it would be.
you just have to do the opposite of what you have now. Then.
Well, the NWSL will be
Right.
Denver, right?
Yep.
I think it's
and
going to
it's
be called.
Colorado Rapids. We're really just keeping it balanced here.
We are. I kind of like that though.
Yeah.
That is fascinating, though, how it's different. Okay, so let's dive into this. Henry, why don't you take us through the additions and subtractions of
Henry can't do it because
Henry
his
can't talk.
microphone is broken.
Ryan or Spencer, or I can.
Why don't you take us through?
Okay, let's go through these. Spencer, when I go through these, you tell me if this is a good thing for the Colts or a bad thing for the Colts. They added Daniel Jones this year.
It's a good thing for them, not for a normal NFL team, but I think it gives them some consistency there, and they've got good coaching. And so I think, Daniel Jones in the right situation can be a serviceable quarterback, but for this team, it's a good thing. For like 30, probably 25 NFL teams, it's not a good thing.
So it's actually a bad thing for the Broncos that they got Daniel Jones. Not like a terrible thing, but like...
Daniel Jones makes them better. And he's a safe. I think he makes them better on offense than.
I disagree.
I agree with you, Spence.
I would rather face Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson 10 times out of 10 because there's less variance. Anthony Richardson is capable of doing crazy things that the defense might not be able to stop, where Daniel Jones is not. We know what Daniel Jones is. He's going to be just average. He might be better on a play-to-play basis, but the Colts don't have a chance of beating the Broncos unless they make like big, spectacular plays, and they're not going to do that with Daniel Jones under center.
Anthony Richardson is so bad.
Yeah, but he's also like thrown a ball 80 yards in the air for a touchdown.
Yeah, I think where my bias comes from Anthony Richardson is like watching last year, obviously the backwards pick six from Nick Bonito, one of the greatest plays of the season for the Broncos, but also when they were trying to drive down the field, it was either the end of the first half, end of the second half. He couldn't throw like a 6-yard out.
Yeah.
Like he couldn't even be close on that and with no pressure. So that's where like Daniel Jones, to me, if he stays on schedule, I think it's actually kind of worrisome, but I don't think this isn't the Colts offense isn't what I'm necessarily worried about in that game.
Wait, let me ask you guys this. Who worries you more, Daniel Jones or Cam Ward?
Cam Ward by a mile.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
No, I'd say in the situations they're playing, week 1 in Denver, or Daniel Jones at home week 2. He has 5 years under his belt. Daniel Jones.
Yeah,
No,
Jones worries me more.
For
Cam Ward doesn't worry me at all.
Cam Ward's a rookie playing his first game on the worst team in the NFL last year against the best defense in the NFL with the best pass rush
Yeah,
in
but we
Denver.
don't know who he is. We know exactly who Daniel Jones is.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Daniel Jones is
no.
not good enough. He's not capable of beating the Broncos defense.
No.
You know who also isn't is Anthony Richardson. Get this, he has 3 games. He has 0 games of 3 touchdowns in his NFL career.
crazy.
He has 3 games with 2 passing touchdowns in his NFL career. And get this, in those 3 games, the best completion percentage he has is 50%.
That's so bad.
He has the other 2 games with 2 passing touchdowns, 47% completion and 44% completion. This guy is terrible. That's why
Daniel Jones is
that's-
also terrible.
No,
he had a preseason
he's-
game with 4 picks. Like
That's
he's
preseason. You're getting the kinks out.
but they didn't come out.
What he said, actually.
He stayed so
Yeah,
kinky.
exactly.
Like they're just he's
he said after the game, he's like, this is when I test what I can get away with.
oh god. Ugh.
Wait, did
But
he
yeah,
actually?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible.
That's where I go.
Maybe
just
that
like
was Zach Wilson.
like
Anthony
Jarrett
Richardson
Stidham.
has 11 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. Daniel Jones in his career has 70 touchdowns and 47 interceptions. Like, not great by any means, but like that is NFL caliber. Whether you're a good backup or you're a bad starter, like that's still NFL caliber. 11 and 13 is not.
Yeah, I just believe that Anthony Richardson has a better chance of making crazy plays that the Broncos defense can't necessarily account for. Whereas Daniel Jones is just going to be Daniel Jones, and like maybe he has 1 or 2 good drives where he goes down and they get a field goal or maybe even a touchdown. But there's no way he's going to be able to like create chaos.
Exactly. Daniel Jones is like
Crazy.
Daniel Jones. It's an uphill battle to like. If they score 17 points, you'd be shocked, and you'd also be surprised if Anthony Richardson does it. But just because he's capable of just like making crazy things happen. Like it'd be different if we were talking from a Panthers perspective and saying like, who scares you more? You'd be like, oh, give us Anthony Richardson because maybe we'll lose either way. But Anthony Richardson kind of sucks. You just know Daniel Jones is going to be like the 40th best quarterback in the NFL, whereas Anthony Richardson probably is going to play like he's the 60th best. But There's like the world in which he hits 3 bombs, and all of a sudden you're saying like, oh, they just rolled 7s, and that is what it is.
No, I couldn't disagree more. But we're just gonna have
I like
to.
having 4 people on the show because like usually it's
Yeah.
like 2 people agree
Yeah.
and then the other person's just screwed.
Yeah.
We got a good balance here today.
Yeah, I'm glad Spence is here to tell them that they are wrong. Just like they were wrong on taking the Titans receivers yesterday. That's crazy over the Broncos. Let's
As
get.
I said, if I'm on the other side, that's got to be right
No,
because I'm a homer.
no.
Yeah.
So Spencer, let's just ask you: would you rather have the Titans receivers or the Broncos receivers?
Remind me who signed with the Titans again this year.
So they have Godwin and
They-
Lockett as their top 2.
They did
No.
not get Godwin.
They have
Well, they
No.
had Godwin before.
no.
the Titans. What are you
The
talking
Titans
about?
have Calvin Ridley
right.
and Tyler Lockett.
I get
That's their
Godwin
top
and
2.
Ridley all
Oh,
flipped around in
I
my
would
head.
take the Broncos in that.
Let's go, baby. 2-2.
I think Calvin Ridley is like the AR-15 or AR-5. Like he's.
You should actually look at the stats though because he's outperformed
It's
Cortland
like
Sutton like every year he's been
multiple-
on the field.
Yeah.
Okay, really quick,
put
we
up like
got to take this
1,300
conversation into overtime. Go to thednvr.com.
I would have
to
said the
watch
same
rest of
thing
this.
until Henry started bringing up the stats yesterday, and I was like, oh, it's hard to disagree with him outperforming Cortland.
And Tyler Lockett is on a downward spiral to the end of his career.
He had one bad season last year.
1,000 yards 2 years ago, 1,000 yards 3 seasons ago, 800 2 seasons ago. Last year 600. This year on pace for 400.
I think the Titans probably have 1 and 4 in the mix, but the Broncos have 2, 3, 5, 6, and 7.
Yeah.
So it kind of depends upon how you weigh that.
Who's number 3?
Number 3? I would say probably if it's just receiving core, I'd put like Devon Bailey or Marvin Mims in there.
Okay.
Probably Marvin Mims, to be honest. I was out on Marvin Mims a lot of last year, and singularly just like the Cincinnati game and the catch that he made, because he has this, like, he's smaller, he can only run this route or this route. The catch he made at the end of the game where he just like mossed someone, kind of, I hope that he can be more of that guy going forward than just the go route deep guy.
Yep, I agreed. Let's now take a look and compare all of these positions with the Broncos and the Colts. And this is going to be interesting because we got 2-2 split. You might have to jump in and be the tiebreaker for any of these. So, Henry and Ryan, do you guys like Anthony Richardson's upside so much that you take him over Bo Nix?
No.
Okay, good.
No.
Yeah, didn't
Again,
think so. We're going Bo. Running backs.
Also,
Jonathan Taylor.
don't gaslight us.
Yeah, yeah.
I just threw it out in that way.
In that tone.
Yeah, exactly. And you said no, and that's all I said. Jonathan Taylor, right?
Yeah,
Right.
that's a quick Colts.
yeah.
But that honestly, like,
The
we're
guy
gonna
that
get
dropped the ball at the 1 yard line and cost the Colts the game, a potential playoff spot against the
go.
Broncos.
we are gonna get like 7 electric J.K. Dobbins games this year, which will be fun. But we don't know when those 7 are coming, and we don't know how. Like,
If we're getting 7, it's probably the
If
first 7.
I hope it's 7.
I hope it's the last 7.
That would be great, but it's highly unlikely.
and to me, like, RJ Harvey and the rest of the Broncos running back room is very much like the AR5 conversation we just had, where RJ Harvey could be 1,000-yard rusher and could be explosive, and he could look like Audric Estime last year or Javonte Williams last year. Like,
is Jonathan Taylor in a downward spiral, Zach?
No, because he had 1,400 rushing yards last year. The year before that, 700. The year before that, 800. So actually, he's trending in the right direction.
An upward spiral.
Everything points that he is
Spiral.
he is good. Except again, shout out to Jonathan Taylor for that fumble at the 1 yard line
Yep.
because that probably got the Broncos into the playoffs.
Sure did.
So
I remember watching that game, and it felt so hopeless
Yep.
before that moment.
he also had the most rushing yards against the Broncos of any running back in the NFL last year. And also made the biggest play for the Broncos as a running back. So, so we're going Jonathan Taylor for running backs. Wide receivers, they've got
So-
Pittman.
Yeah. So to me, so I look at Pittman and Sutton and say probably a wash. I think
Cortland there probably.
so per 17 games, if you just look through the numbers, Pittman's at 88 catches, 974 yards, 4 touchdowns. Sutton at 66, 926, and 6 touchdowns. So down on volume, up on touchdowns. I could go Sutton,
yeah.
but I think from there is where it gets tougher for the Broncos.
Well, and then they have Alec Pierce, who broke out last season.
Yeah.
He had 824 yards. Was actually their leading receiver. Had the most yards per
Yep.
catch in the NFL. And they have another receiver, Josh Downs. So they had 3 receivers with 800 yards last year, but no star.
So I would say to me, Pierce is their Mims because that's just like your pure deep threat. I think that one's probably pretty easily Pierce. Like you said, like 800 yards, led the NFL in yards per target, led the NFL in yards per reception. And then Josh Downs, 800 yards versus Vele. Like to me, this is
Broncos
probably
have
Colts.
one. They have 2, 3, 4. Probably goes Colts.
Yeah, and you gotta imagine too, just the Colts. The Colts receivers, I think, just if you put them with their receivers and the Broncos receivers with the same quarterback, I think the Colts probably win that battle.
I would go with Broncos here, but I don't have anything to really justify it with other than like I just would. So
I like it.
yeah, tight end, Evan Ingram, man.
I think it's
They're
gotta
both
be.
unknowns to me.
Tyler Warren.
Because Tyler Warren could be the next.
Oh, they've got
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
he
not
could-
giving Tyler Warren
No.
any benefit of the doubt in week 2.
No,
Exactly.
100%.
By the end of the season, it might be different, but as of now, it's
All right.
Yeah, and we still
Give
like
us
Adam
Ingram.
Troutman. Come on.
Yep.
Lucas Kroll.
We have training camp star Lucas Kroll.
Caleb Lohner, don't forget the tall man.
I'm actually really excited about
I like
it.
Caleb
Me
Lohner.
too. Offensive line.
Someone said I'm the president of the Caleb Lohner Believers Club.
Wow. You're getting a lot of those titles.
Yeah.
Offensive line. I'd go
Yeah.
completeness. Broncos.
exactly. I think last year maybe more of a conversation, but so they lose Ryan Kelly, starting center. They lose Will Fries, the guard, to like an $88 million contract or whatever. They're still good with Bernard Ryman, Braden Smith, and Quentin Nelson, but there's the 2 question marks versus the Broncos. It's Broncos probably.
Let's go.
Can I just like, can I give a secret that I feel that I don't?
yes.
I don't like.
Ooh.
Yes.
The Broncos numbers, offensive line wise, are really good, right? Quinn Miners is a stud. I just, my eyes, and maybe deceiving, I don't feel like the Broncos offensive line is that good through the
No
whole thing.
NFL fan thinks that their team's offensive line is good.
Other
Except
than
for
the Lions
Eagles.
and the Eagles. Yep. There's
Okay.
always 2. And I
'Cause,
think
Ben Powers to me is kind of just like meh, especially for what he's getting paid.
I think that's fair. But I
Yeah.
think when he's the weak link, it's a good weak link.
But
I also
the center's
think
the actual weak link.
potentially, yeah. It's,
And then
I mean,
your right
just ask
tackle's like
less.
your right tackle's like, "Ugh."
I
and then
think
your left tackle's also like, "Ugh." I don't know. Like their numbers
It's like, I
prove
mean-
me wrong, but
then you got
watching the
Quinn,
games,
which
I'm
is
like,
good.
D3.
yeah, but then
D3 though.
Quinn, you're like, okay, that guy, that's a guy.
To me, it's like all of them are above average except for maybe Wattenberg. And what happens is if you're just above average, you are having bad plays. And so then everyone only remembers your bad plays and they get a bad taste in their mouth.
That's very fair.
On the whole, the fact that the Broncos don't have anyone that's like, that guy sucks, is why the offensive line is good.
the running backs also did a bad job setting up blocks.
That's what I
That's-
think is going to change this year. If this
Yep.
line is good numbers wise, and we have better backs, I think you'll see the 5 to 6 yards a carry instead of a
Exactly.
bunch of guys averaging 3.5.
I think all of a sudden when there's like a little bit of patience and let the blocks develop and then you cut back the other way, the line looks a lot better. It's just that when like Audric, he has a tendency to just put his head down, run straight ahead and run into the back of his offensive lineman. That's going to make the offensive line look bad.
So let's go to the defensive side. The run defense. Colts last year had a bottom 10 run defense. I don't think they upgraded much, so you give it to the Broncos easily,
Yeah.
in my
Yep.
opinion. Pass rush. Broncos had the best pass rush in the NFL last
Yep.
year. I'm going with them.
Yep. Like I
Coverage.
said, this is going to be a familiar pattern to
it,
these.
it really
Yeah,
is.
when you get to
yeah.
the defensive side, it's like
Yeah.
bing, 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 bing.
Yep. And we're going with Broncos for coverage and coaching. We are going for the Broncos with coaching, I would imagine.
Yep.
But this one's closer than most. Like I think
Definitely.
Steichen's solid.
agree.
Like the Broncos like
Totally.
have a better coach than most teams. Like I said earlier, probably 25 to 27 teams. But Steichen is one of the guys I would put like he may have a Sean Payton-esque career.
I totally agree.
Wow.
I mean, like, when you look at what they've done with their quarterbacks, like Gardner Minshew, Anthony Richardson, the fact that they've been 500 over the past 2 years, really impressive. Like to me, the Colts are just what the Broncos were up until last year, where they haven't had the same quarterback back-to-back seasons since Andrew Luck in 2015-16. Like they kind of patch things up with good defense. Like maybe there's a little bit of a running game. They stick around 500, but
Throw an old guy out there.
exactly, throw Flacco or
Phillip
Rivers or Matt Ryan.
Tomorrow, we've got the Chargers to break down. I'm curious if it's going to be the exact same look because
Probably.
first 2 weeks, exact same. That'll be a fun conversation. Spence, always great to talk to you and have you on this show. Thanks for joining us
And
today.
thanks for being a great friend.
I appreciate it.
There we go.
Yeah.
It wraps up perfectly. And we will see you tomorrow. We've got Baldy joining us. Plus, we're going to break down the Chargers in this running back room. And we're going to do it at 11 a.m. So shout out. Make sure to donate to Big Brothers Big Sisters. Shout out to our guy Spence. We'll see you tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.